and now you want her to get
She
out.
wants to stay here for
Okay,
free.
well, first of all, that is all a lie, Your Honor.
As plaintiff, I have listed Charles Snodgrass and defendant Dale Graham. And I'm going to just ask a couple of quick questions. The first thing I like to do in all eviction suits is to make sure that I'm speaking with the owners of the property. Mr. Snodgrass, do you own this property?
No, sir, I rent.
Okay, so you're renting from someone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. And so, Miss Graham, how is she? Is she lets, or is it someone you let Miss Graham stay with you? Is that what it is?
Uh, kind of, yes. I did it.
Tell me. You said conda. Tell me what does conda mean?
Well, her and her boyfriend came in with some stuff because they got kicked out of the motel for destroying the smoke detectors or fire detectors in it. And she went to jail, and then they came over here and told me that they just needed a place to put the stuff for the night because they couldn't get into storage. So the next night they brought other stuff in and said, "Don't worry about it, it's going right back out." And then she just stayed and stayed.
Okay. Okay. So initially, from what I'm getting, you were trying to help them out. They needed
Yes,
somewhere to stay, and the first they needed somewhere to store their items.
yes,
But
sir.
then, but then that turned into more of a uh, tenancy. So when did you initially agree to allow them to store things and to move into the unit that you're renting?
I really didn't. I really didn't agree to it.
Okay.
They just kept moving stuff in, and
Well,
then she moved out.
tell me this. You say you really didn't agree to it. Tell me how did this start? What prompted you to allow them to even bring stuff over?
Well, they just came that night, and they just kind of pushed their way on in and said they had to have a place to put the stuff for the night because the storage wasn't open. And then it just kind of went into the next night and the next night, and it's just been going. I asked her to move several times,
Hmm.
but she didn't. That's why I'm in this process now because she wouldn't volunteer to go.
Okay. How did you know Miss Graham?
I rescued her a couple of times off the street. Went to prison,
Okay.
got her from prison, and let her stay here. That was the before time, not this time. And she finally got on her own and moved out the that time. But this time she doesn't want to. She wants to stay here for free and live off of me, and I want her gone.
Okay. So she's a former friend of yours. That she's a friend, pretty much.
Well, kind of. She was, yes, because I tried to help her several times.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you allowed your friend, Miss Graham, to move in with you, and now you want her to get out of the unit that you're renting from someone else.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Um, so y'all, you really didn't have nothing written. It was just more of a verbal agreement for her to
Yes,
stay there temporarily, but
yes,
it
sir.
turned into be something long term.
You're,
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure I got. So, Miss Graham,
you're
you tell me your version of what's going on. Go ahead.
okay. Well, first of all, that is all a lie, Your Honor. Okay, Mr. Snodgrass, when I moved out, I lived there. I paroled to his house. He came and got me out of prison. I paroled to his house. I lived there. I paid rent when I lived there. I had a job. I moved out. and I went and stayed. A friend of mine, he managed a motel with the Wood Springs, and he had he got a room for free. So I went and stayed there for like a year and a half. While I was there, and my phone is busted up, I was going to try to pull up some of the text messages. While I was there, Mr. Snodgrass messaged me all the time, telling me to come home, telling me that I would be safe there, and that if anything happened to me, like if I was having hard times, that he just wanted me to be safe and that he loved me. So many times that he'd send me messages like that. And so whenever yes, I did go to jail over a smoke detector, which is relevant because it had been going off, and I just pulled it down to get it to stop going off, and I went to jail for messing with it. So with that, when that happened, they told me that I couldn't stay at the motel anymore. So I went over to Charlie's, Mr. Snodgrass's house. My boyfriend never stayed. I got a ride over there. I knocked on the door. He let me in, sir. He told me that I could. He even took me into a room and let me clean out another guy's things, and told me that was a place for me that I could stay. I'd have my own privacy. He even let me build a wall, sir, and to where, because you have to go through the room that I'm staying in to get to the bathroom. And so to have my own privacy, he let me build my own wall. Sir, this is crazy that he is lying like this. The light bill is in my name. The deal was that I would pay the light bill, and so the light bill is in my name, which I pay with my debit card. I'm not I pay no rent. I do, sir. I have light bills right here from stemming all the way back from January. They were in my friend's name at first because his credit was better, and so I got a better deal on the lights. But the agreement was I pay the light bill, and that's exactly what I've been doing, sir. And I've also given him money numerous times. I never got a receipt for it, but numerous times, sir. I can't believe. I mean, I can't believe that he is lying. All of it is a lie, sir. I've never stayed there and not paid him any money. Like I said, the power is in my name, and I pay it. This is crazy, and I could tell you the real reason why I believe that he is kicking me out is because of him groping on me and touching on me and stuff inappropriately. I wasn't ever going to say anything about it because at the time I didn't have anywhere to go, and he would do it. And then one time, it was kind of bad, and I kicked him off of me, and ever since then he's told me to get out. Told me to make me has been mean to me and everything. Took all the dishes out of the kitchen, took all the towels out of the bathroom, just being ugly, because I feel like it's because I will not let him inappropriately touch me anymore, Your Honor. I haven't filed any charges on him because I figure I just get away from the situation, and he's 80 years old, and I kind of still have a heart. I don't want him to go to prison or get in any trouble. But, Your Honor, I will take a lie detector test. That is what he has done to me for the 2 years that I was there. He knew I was there. I paid him money to stay there. I have a refrigerator there. My room is set up. And I do believe, Your Honor, that's why he is doing this to me, because I won't let him. Because before everything was fine. Everything was fine when he was getting to pull me down in his lap and rub him. You know what I'm saying? Everything was fine until I put it into it. That's when everything got bad, Your Honor.
Okay. So you feel like he's retaliating against you because you don't want, you refuse to allow him to violate you.
Yes, sir. And I've told numerous people when it was happening, I've dealt with it all my life growing up, but I don't have a family, Your Honor, and he knows this. I don't have anywhere to go. And then I was scared to say anything or tell the authorities because of the retaliation, in which his niece has already come over to the house and tried to fight me. I had to call the police on her, trying to fight me, saying that I was beating on him, saying they were going to get me for elderly abuse. The only time I've ever touched him was to get him off of me, get his hands off of me, sir. Like it's just been.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Miss Graham. Seeing the conditions that you're under, and I can see the rest that in the expressions in your face. Have you thought about just getting out, and trying to find somewhere else to stay?
Whenever he just whenever he was telling me to get out at the time, I didn't have nowhere to go. It was going to take me a minute because, like I said, I don't have family, and even if I probably could have found somewhere to go, but my safety, I just didn't want to just up and just go somewhere and not be safe, So it was taking me some time. But the whole entire time, he was being just so ugly to me, sir. And I still continue to pay the light bill. Still to this day, I pay the light bill. It's in my name. But I have started moving some of my things out. I have found somewhere to go as of right now. I just got to come up with a little bit extra money so I can pay the rent here. I'm struggling, and
Okay. So are you there now?
yes. No, I'm
Okay.
not there right now. I'm at a friend of mine's house. And I went there yesterday to try to get some of my things, in which he vindictively turned the water off on me. I have a picture where he goes outside and he tells, I called the police because I wanted it documented. And he told the police he was working on the washing machine, which was a lie. He just was being ugly, sir. And I told him, I said, Charlie, that's against the law. You can't do that. And they made him turn it back on. So he's just, I don't have anybody that has a truck, so I'm working on that right now to get some of my bed and stuff like that. But, I'm just, um, it's just taking me a little bit of time, sir.
So so do you think that you possibly would be out within the next 5 days?
Um, um, I'm not sure because I only have one friend that has a truck, and he works out of town a lot, and he just left this morning to go work out of town, I think for a week. Um, uh, so 5 days, I want to say maybe a week, maybe at the most, but I mean, I could try for 5 days. In 5 days, um, it's just my friend has a little car. I'm not sure we can make trips back, but my bed is the only thing. It's kind of big, the big stuff. And I have a refrigerator there. Um, but just for him to say that lies, that I never paid no rent or anything like that, Your Honor, is just, But I'm doing the best I can to get out as fast as I can.
Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put an end to y'all's landlord, well, reletting. I guess you could say reletting relationship. Uh, and I say reletting because he's renting from somebody, and he's actually, well, subleasing. He's not reletting, but he's subleasing. He's subleasing to you, which he's probably in violation of his own lease agreement by even doing it. Uh, Based on what I've heard today. Uh, so here's the thing. Um, it's hard for me to say who's right and who's wrong because I really don't have a lot of factual. I have a lot of statements under oath. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to dissolve this subleasing relationship that y'all have. And I'm going to tell you how I'm doing it. Okay. So, to you, Miss Graham, I see that the emotion in you. Well, I'm hoping that your emotions expedite you getting out of his house. That's what I'm hoping.
I'm doing the
Now,
best I can, sir.
with that being said, I'm going to have a judgment, okay? But it's just going to be for property. All right? I'm just giving him back his property. All right? That's what's going to happen today. Because you've already told me that you're moving out. Okay? I'm just going to put it on paper that y'all are no longer a landlord subleasing to a tenant. That's what my judgment's going to be for property only. Okay? Now, I gave you a timeline. Now that timeline was 5 days. All right?
Okay.
But in all reality, you have 6 days from today's date to finish moving your stuff out. Or if you feel like you have rights to that property, you can appeal my decision of dissolving this subleasing relationship. Okay? So you have 6 days to either move out or appeal my judgment against you. All right? Again, it's just
If
for the
I file
property.
for if I file for an appeal, what What is that? What happens then?
You stay there underneath the certain conditions. The conditions are that you pay rent to me and to the higher court. Not no light bill. You pay rent. Now, you said under oath that you pay the light bill. All right? The average light bill in McLennan County for an older house like that is going to be between $350 and $500. Okay? And so I'm going to assume that you are paying on average $350 to $500 in lieu of paying him money. So if you decide to appeal, you have every right to. And you have every right to stay there during your tenancy, during the appeals process, long as you pay rent to me first. Okay? I'll say that. But I'm trying to figure out if it's that bad, why are you even why are you thinking about appealing? If it's that bad, where the conditions are that bad, why do you still want to stay there? That's just me. I'm not asking because that's my honest opinion right now. I'm trying to figure that out. But here's the thing: I'm not going to go any further with it. I've explained to you. You have 6 days to appeal or move out, and if you don't, then Mr. Snodgrass can take the next legal actions against you, which is have the constable serve you with another 24-hour notice to get out. That's it.
Okay.
Okay? Judgment fate for the plaintiff. Possession only. I've heard everything I need to hear. Okay? If you have any further questions, I encourage you to call Lone Star Legal Aid. They can provide you with free legal assistance. Okay? Judgment fate for the plaintiff. Okay. Property only. Court's adjourned. All right.